In the stillness of a world long past, where shadows cast by dim-lit lanterns flicker gently against the walls, we find ourselves in the midst of the Second World War, a time of both great trials and quiet hopes. The year is 1943, and the air is thick with the expectancy of news and the unyielding march of time. Yet within this vast and tumultuous era, we shall wander gently through the tale of undelivered mail, each envelope and letter a whisper of stories untold and connections unmade. Our journey begins in a small postal depot, nestled in the countryside of England, a place where the rhythmic sound of sorting mail was an everyday symphony, played by hands that moved with practiced ease and steady purpose. Here, among the stacks of letters and parcels, we meet our first character, Emily, a young woman with a quiet strength and eyes that held the warmth of summer fields. Emily's days were filled with the simple routine of sorting and sifting through the correspondence of countless souls, each letter a small testament to human connection and the yearning to bridge distances both physical and emotional. She found comfort in the orderly nature of her work, the way each piece of mail seemed to carry with it a fragment of a world far removed from her own. As we step further into this world of paper and ink, we encounter Thomas, a soldier stationed far from home, his thoughts often drifting back to the familiar comforts of family and the gentle embrace of a life left behind. In the quiet moments between duties, Thomas would sit by the soft glow of a flickering candle, pen in hand, crafting letters filled with reassurances and dreams of a future free from the shadows of conflict. The words flowed from him like a river, steady and true, carrying with them the essence of who he was and the hopes he held close. These letters, yet undelivered, lay in wait, tucked away in bags that would travel across seas and skies, their journeys paused by the uncertainties of war. Finally, we meet Margaret, a mother whose heart was a beacon of unwavering love and hope. She lived in a modest home where the scent of baking bread mingled with the crisp air of early mornings. Her days were marked by the rhythm of household tasks and the gentle act of writing to her son, each letter a tapestry of everyday life woven with care, her words a balm against the worry that sometimes crept into her thoughts. She cherished the moments spent at her kitchen table, the warmth of the oven at her back, as she penned letters that spoke of gardens tended and neighbors visited, small stories that grounded her in a sense of continuity amidst change. And so, as the soft entrance to our tale unfolds, we find ourselves gently cradled in the lives of these three individuals, each connected by the threads of correspondence, yet separated by the vast distances of war. As the lanterns dim and the world outside falls into a gentle slumber, we shall journey through the quiet mysteries of undelivered mail, where the echoes of whispered words linger, waiting patiently to be heard. Let us drift softly into this story, allowing the calm to envelop us, as we explore the delicate balance of past and present, connection and solitude, in this whisper-calm narrative of the mysteries of undelivered World War II mail. In the quiet corner of a country abode, Mary sat at her well-worn kitchen table, the wood smooth and familiar under her hands. The air held a gentle chill that hinted at the approaching winter, and she wrapped her shawl tightly around her shoulders, savoring the soft, comforting weight of the wool. Her fingers traced the edge of an envelope, the paper slightly rough, a tangible link to her son, who was far away. The rhythmic ticking of the wall clock was a steady companion, marking the passage of time with a serene inevitability. Mary's days were a tapestry of mundane tasks that brought both comfort and constancy. The morning began with the ritual of lighting the stove, the kindling crackling softly as it caught fire, sending warmth into the room. The scent of freshly brewed tea mingled with the earthy aroma of baking bread, a melody of fragrances that filled her small kitchen. These simple joys, the everyday rituals, were her anchors, a steadfast routine in a world that felt increasingly uncertain. As she kneaded the dough, her hands moved with a practiced grace, the flour dusting the countertop like a whisper of snow. Each motion was a dance learned over years from her mother and grandmother before her, a lineage of love and sustenance carried forward. The dough was warm and pliable under her touch, yielding to the gentle insistence of her hands, and she marveled at the transformation from simple ingredients to nourishing bread, a quiet magic within the ordinary. Her attire was modest, practical for the work of the day, a sturdy dress of dark wool, its hem brushing against her ankles as she moved. The fabric was worn in places, a testament to its long service, but it held a comfort that new clothes could never replace. A small apron, pockets filled with bits of string, and a worn handkerchief completed her ensemble, each item a tool in the quiet service of her daily labors. In the garden, the last of the autumn produce awaited harvest, the earth yielding its final gifts before the frost. Mary donned her gloves, the leather supple and familiar, and stepped out into the crisp air. The chill was invigorating, a gentle reminder of the cycle of seasons. She moved among the rows of vegetables, her baskets filling with potatoes and carrots, their earthy scent grounding her in the moment. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the garden, painting the landscape in hues of gold and amber. Back inside, the kitchen was a haven of warmth, the oven radiating a gentle heat that eased the chill from her bones. Mary set to work, preparing a simple stew, the vegetables chopped and simmering in a pot, their flavors melding into a rich and hearty aroma. The sound of the wooden spoon stirring the pot was a rhythmic, soothing cadence, a familiar refrain in the symphony of her day. As the afternoon unfolded, Mary took a moment to rest by the window, her gaze drifting over the fields that stretched towards the horizon. The landscape was a patchwork of browns and greens, the trees standing bare against the sky, their branches etched like delicate lace. She thought of her son, imagining him in his uniform, the crisp fabric pressed and neat, a stark contrast to the softness of his childhood clothes. The letters she wrote to him were filled with tales of home, of the everyday moments she hoped would bring him comfort. Mary's friend, Thomas, who lived not far from her, also held a steadfast routine. A farmer by trade, his days were spent tending to his land and livestock. His hands, rough from years of hard work, were skilled in the gentle care of his animals. Each morning he moved through the barn, the familiar scents of hay and leather a comforting presence. He wore a hat that had seen many seasons, its brim shielding his eyes from the sun as he worked. The rhythm of his day was marked by the steady pace of his tasks, the quiet strength of routine a balm against the uncertainties that loomed beyond the horizon. In another part of the country, young William, a soldier, found solace in the letters from home. The weight of the paper was a connection, a reminder of the life he had left behind. The barracks were filled with the quiet hum of conversation, the shuffle of cards, and the soft rustle of letters being read and reread. His uniform was a second skin, the fabric stiff yet familiar, the boots worn and sturdy beneath his feet. In the quiet moments, he imagined the comfort of a home-cooked meal, the warmth of a familiar embrace. As the day drew to a close, the sky painted in shades of twilight. Mary lit the lamps, their soft glow casting gentle shadows across the room. The world outside was hushed, a peaceful stillness settling over the landscape. She sat once more at her table, pen in hand, the ink flowing in a steady stream as she wrote her son another letter. Her words were a gentle murmur of love and hope, a beacon in the darkness. As the night unfolded, she imagined the letters that would one day cross the distance, carrying her love across oceans and time, a testament to the enduring power of connection. As the seasons shifted around them, the world felt both vast and intimate. The unpredictability of the weather served as a constant reminder of nature's indifference to human conflicts. Winter's chill crept into the barracks where William and his fellow soldiers sought warmth, the air outside biting and sharp. Inside, the cold was held at bay by the steady crackle of a wood stove, its gentle warmth offering a measure of comfort. The soldiers wrapped themselves in woolen blankets, their hands cupping tin mugs filled with steaming coffee, the heat seeping slowly into their fingers. The sky outside was a canvas of gray, heavy with clouds that promised snow. Each flake that fell was a small, silent reminder of nature's beauty amidst the harshness of war. William found a strange solace in the falling snow, its quiet descent a soothing balm for his weary mind. The snow muffled the usual sounds of camp, lending an air of tranquility that was rare and precious. As he looked out across the snow-covered landscape, he thought of home, of Mary, and the familiar rhythms of life that continued in his absence. Back home, the winter season brought its own set of challenges and routines. Mary awoke each morning to a house chilled by the night, the floors cold against her feet as she set about her daily tasks. The first light of day was often muted by the heavy clouds, casting a soft glow across the fields beyond her window. She wrapped herself in a thick shawl, her breath visible in the frosty air as she moved from room to room. In the kitchen, the stove was a focal point of warmth and activity, its cast iron surface a place where meals were prepared and stories were shared. Mary stoked the fire, the flames licking eagerly at the logs and sending a wave of heat into the room. The scent of baking bread mingled with the crispness of winter air, a comforting blend that spoke of home and hearth. As the bread rose, she took a moment to sit by the window, her eyes tracing the patterns etched by frost on the glass. The seasons in their endless cycle dictated the rhythm of life, each one bringing its own beauty and challenges. Spring was a promise whispered on the cold wind, the anticipation of new growth and renewal. The snow would eventually melt, revealing the earth beneath, ready to awaken from its slumber. Mary thought of the garden she would tend, the seeds she would plant with careful hands, each one a small act of hope for the future. As she wrote to William, her letters often spoke of the changing seasons, of the small but significant ways they shaped her days. She described the way the sun felt on her skin in those rare moments when it broke through the clouds, or the sound of rain drumming gently on the roof. Her words carried the essence of home, grounding him in the familiar, even as he faced the unknown. In the camp, William shared these letters with his closest companions, their presence a tether to a life interrupted by war. They spoke of the seasons with a kind of reverence, each one a marker of time passing, of days edging slowly toward a hoped-for peace. The letters were read aloud, the words carrying across the room, weaving a tapestry of connection that defied distance. The summer months brought their own set of routines, the heat pressing down like a weight upon the soldiers. Mornings were filled with the buzz of insects, the air thick with the scent of sun-warmed earth. The soldiers sought shade whenever possible, the trees offering a respite from the relentless sun. Water was a precious commodity, each sip savored as it cooled parched throats. Mary's letters reflected the change in season, her descriptions vivid and alive. She wrote of the garden in full bloom, the vibrant colors and heady scents, a feast for the senses. She shared her joy in the simple pleasures of summer, the taste of ripe fruit, the laughter of children playing in the fields, the long days that stretched into evening, painted in hues of gold and crimson. As autumn arrived, the world shifted once more, the leaves turning brilliant shades of red and orange before falling to the ground. The air became crisp, a refreshing change that signaled the approach of winter once more. The soldiers found themselves grateful for the cooler temperatures, the relief from summer's heat, a welcome change. Their routines adjusted, the days growing shorter, the nights longer, inviting reflection and camaraderie. The cycle of seasons brought with it a rhythm that was both comforting and relentless, a reminder of the passage of time. In the quiet moments, William and Mary each found strength in the knowledge that they were part of something larger, a world that continued to turn, even as their own lives were temporarily suspended. As the leaves fell and the first frost touched the ground, they each awaited the day when letters would no longer be their sole means of communication, when the world would be at peace, and they could once again share the simple, profound joys of everyday life. As autumn deepened and the landscape transformed into a tapestry of muted browns and grays, the rhythm of life continued its gentle, unhurried pace. The world, though touched by the distant echoes of conflict, remained a place where every day held its own quiet beauty. For William, one of the soldiers stationed far from home, the journey from one place to another became a meditation of sorts, a time to reflect upon the past and dream of the future. The soldiers moved across the countryside, their boots crunching softly over fallen leaves, the sound mingling with the distant call of birds preparing for their long migration. The road stretched before them like a ribbon of time, winding through fields and forests, each step taking them further from the familiar and closer to the unknown. They traveled by foot and by horse, the gentle clop of hooves, a soothing rhythm that matched the beating of their hearts. The wagons creaked and swayed, laden with supplies and the hopes of those who traveled with them. In the early morning light, the world was shrouded in a soft mist, the air cool and crisp against their skin. The sun rose slowly, casting long shadows that danced across the ground, warming the earth and lifting the spirits of those who walked its path. William found solace in these moments, the quietude of the dawn, a balm for the soul. The landscape unfolded with a serene majesty, each hill and valley a reminder of the enduring beauty of the natural world. As they traveled, the soldiers shared stories and laughter, their voices mingling with the sounds of nature. The journey, though arduous at times, was an opportunity for connection and camaraderie, a chance to forge bonds that would withstand the trials of war. William often thought of Mary during these travels, imagining her laughter as she walked through the fields back home, the way her eyes lit up when she spoke of the future they would share. Mary, in her own way, undertook her own journeys. She walked the paths that crisscrossed the land around her home, her footsteps guided by the rhythms of the seasons. The wagon she used to take to the market was a familiar companion, its wheels turning steadily as it carried her through the bustling lanes, past the stalls filled with autumn's bounty. The simple act of travel was a reminder of continuity, of life moving forward even in times of uncertainty. In the quiet corners of the forest, Mary found moments of peace, the whisper of the wind through the trees a gentle lullaby. She would pause to listen, the rustle of leaves beneath her feet a soothing counterpoint to the distant hum of life. Here, amidst the dappled light and shadow, she felt connected to William, knowing that he too walked a path that would one day lead him back to her. The pace of their travels was unhurried, each step deliberate and measured. The road was a place of contemplation, a space where thoughts could wander freely, untethered by the constraints of time. The soldiers and those they encountered along the way shared a common purpose. Their journeys intertwined in ways both seen and unseen. As they moved through the landscape, the world unfolded in a tapestry of color and light, each scene a reminder of the beauty that lay beneath the surface of everyday life. The fields lay fallow, the earth resting after the harvest, preparing for the renewal that would come with spring. The sky, a canvas of shifting hues, painted a backdrop for their travels, the play of light and shadow a dance that marked the passage of time. In the evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the travelers would gather around small fires, the warmth a comfort against the chill of night. The flames flickered and danced, casting a gentle glow that illuminated their faces, each one reflecting the resilience and hope that carried them forward. The stories shared around these fires were woven with threads of memory and longing, creating a tapestry of shared experience that strengthened the bonds between them. William often found himself gazing into the flames, losing himself in the dance of light and shadow. The fire's warmth was a reminder of home, of the hearth that awaited him, and the love that anchored him. He imagined Mary by his side, her presence a steadying force, her laughter a melody that played softly in his heart. Mary, too, found solace in the evenings, her thoughts turning to William as she sat by her own hearth. The glow of the fire mirrored the warmth she felt within, a connection that transcended distance and time. She imagined the day when their journeys would converge, when the rhythm of their lives would once again align, and they would walk side by side, each step a testament to the love that bound them. As the seasons turned and the world continued its gentle dance, the journeys of William and Mary unfolded with a quiet grace. Each step, each moment, was a reminder of the enduring power of hope and the promise of reunion. The road, with its twists and turns, was a tapestry of possibility, a path that would one day lead them home. In the quiet hours of the evening, the world seemed to exhale, and the soft murmur of the night enveloped the landscape with a gentle embrace. It was a time when thoughts turned inward and the heart's whispers were heard more clearly. For William, the act of writing a letter was a ritual as sacred as any prayer, a moment of connection that transcended the miles that lay between him and Mary. He would sit at a small wooden desk, the grain of the wood smooth beneath his fingertips, and allow the flickering candlelight to cast a warm glow over the paper before him. His pen, an instrument of both comfort and expression, moved with a deliberate grace, the ink flowing smoothly as if it carried the very essence of his heart. In his letters, William spoke of the mundane and the meaningful, weaving a tapestry of his days with words that painted pictures of the world around him. He wrote of the weather, the chill in the air that hinted at approaching winter, and the way the sky transformed at dusk, an artist's palette of colors that defied description. He shared stories of his comrades, the laughter and camaraderie that bound them together in a shared journey, and the quiet moments of reflection that often followed the day's labors. Mary, too, cherished the ritual of letter writing. Her correspondence was a lifeline, a thread that connected her to William. Even as the world around her shifted and changed, she would settle into a familiar chair by the window, the soft fabric worn to comfort, and let the rhythm of her pen dance across the page. Her letters carried the fragrance of home, infused with the scents of lavender and rosemary that grew in her garden, and the warmth of the hearth that crackled softly in the background. In her messages, Mary shared the small joys and sorrows of her days, the rhythm of life that pulsed gently around her. She wrote of the garden she tended with loving care, the blooms that defied the chill with their vibrant colors, and the birds that sang their morning songs with cheerful abandon. She spoke of the village, the familiar faces, and the stories that wove a rich tapestry of community, each thread a reminder of the interconnectedness of their lives. As each letter made its journey across the miles, carried by hands unknown yet trusted, it brought with it a piece of the sender's heart. The act of sealing the envelope, of pressing the wax and leaving an imprint, was a moment of finality, yet also one of hope. It was the promise of words yet to be read, of emotions yet to be shared, and of connections yet to be strengthened. William found solace in the rhythm of the postal service, the predictability of its comings and goings, a balm to his restless heart. The sight of the postmen, a figure steadfast and reliable, brought a sense of anticipation, the possibility of a letter from Mary a bright spot in his day. And when that envelope, bearing her familiar handwriting, was finally in his hands, it was as if the world paused, holding its breath in reverence for the moment. Her letters was a ritual unto itself. He would carefully break the seal, as if unwrapping a precious gift, and let the paper unfold with a soft rustle. Her words, penned with care and affection, wrapped around him like a warm embrace, each sentence a reminder of the love that waited for him, steadfast and unwavering. Mary, in turn, cherished the letters from William, her heart lifting at the sight of his familiar script. She would sit by the fire, the warmth surrounding her as she read his words, letting the stories and emotions wash over her like a gentle tide. His letters were a window into his world, a glimpse of the man she cherished, and a reminder of the bond that connected them, a bond that distance could not diminish. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the exchange of letters became a rhythm as natural as the changing of the seasons. Each one carried the weight of longing, yet also the promise of reunion, a hope that sustained them both through the passage of time. The letters were more than just words on a page. They were a testament to the enduring power of love, a love that spanned the distance and defied the constraints of time. In the quiet moments between the writing and the receiving, both William and Mary found a sense of peace, a calm assurance that despite the uncertainties of the world, their connection remained unbroken. The letters, with their stories and sentiments, were a bridge, spanning the gap between them and bringing their hearts closer with each word. And so, through the ritual of letter writing, they continued their journey together, a journey marked by the steady cadence of pen on paper, the gentle unfolding of envelopes, and the shared dreams that lay within each carefully crafted message. Each letter was a whisper of the heart, a gentle reminder that love, like the stars above, endured beyond the boundaries of time and space. In the quietude of those long nights, under the soft glow of a solitary lamp, William would often sit with pen in hand, reflecting on the events of the day. The flickering light cast gentle shadows across the room, creating a serene backdrop that mirrored the tranquility of his thoughts. The air was filled with the faint scent of ink and paper, a comforting aroma that seemed to bridge the distance between him and Mary. As he wrote, the words flowed effortlessly, each stroke of the pen a testament to the connection they shared across the miles. He would begin with the mundane details of his day, the routine tasks that occupied his time. There was a soothing rhythm to these descriptions, a cadence that brought order to the chaos that sometimes surrounded him. "Dearest Mary," he would write, "today was much like the others. The weather has turned colder, and the leaves have begun their descent, painting the ground in hues of gold and crimson. It reminds me of the walks we used to take, how the crunch of leaves beneath our feet would accompany our laughter." His letters were not just accounts of daily activities. They were windows into his soul, revealing hopes and dreams that were as vivid as the colors of autumn. He would speak of the future, of the plans they would make once this chapter had passed. "I often think of the little house we dreamed of," he continued, "with the garden out back where we could watch the seasons change together. It is a dream that sustains me, a promise of what is to come." Mary, in turn, would receive these letters with a mix of anticipation and solace. She cherished the moments when she could sit quietly, the world around her hushed, and immerse herself in William's words. Her own replies were equally heartfelt, crafted with care and filled with her own reflections. "My dearest William," she would respond, "your letters are a balm to my spirit. I read them over and over, each time finding something new to hold on to. The days here are filled with their own routines, but your words bring me a sense of peace, a reminder of the life we will build together. Her letters painted vivid pictures of her days, simple yet rich in detail. She spoke of the garden, of the flowers that still bloomed despite the encroaching cold. "The roses are resilient," she wrote, "even as the frost begins to bite. They remind me of us, how we endure, how we remain steadfast in the face of all that comes our way." In this exchange, their letters became more than mere communication. They were a lifeline, a way to remain connected despite the physical separation. Each envelope held within it not just words, but a piece of their hearts. The letters traveled across distances, over land and sea, carrying with them the whispers of love and the strength of their bond. As the seasons continued their cycle, each letter marked the passage of time, yet also the constancy of their affection. In the moments between writing and receiving, there was a profound sense of stillness, a quiet assurance that, no matter the distance, they were together in spirit. The letters, with their gentle narratives and shared sentiments, wove a tapestry of connection that was unbreakable. Through these exchanges, William and Mary found solace and strength, a reminder that love, enduring and steadfast, could weather any storm. The letters were a bridge, connecting their hearts and minds, a testament to the enduring power of love, in a world that was forever changing. And so, with each carefully crafted message, they continued their journey together, bound by the words that whispered across the pages, bringing them closer with each passing day. Every letter they exchanged was a window into their world, a delicate thread weaving through time, binding their hearts with every stroke of ink. In the quiet moments of the night, under the soft glow of candlelight, she would unfurl the latest letter from him, her fingers tracing the familiar handwriting as if memorizing every curve and line. Each word was a balm to her soul, a reminder of the bond they shared, despite the miles that lay between them. "My dearest," one letter began, the ink slightly smudged as if he had lingered over the words. "I find myself thinking of you constantly. The days here are long, but thoughts of you make them bearable. The sky was painted with the most breathtaking colors at sunset today, and I wished you were here to see it with me. Until then, I shall carry the memory of it in my heart, alongside the memory of your smile." She smiled softly, feeling his presence through the words, as if he were there beside her, sharing that sunset in spirit. Her reply was swift, her heart pouring into each sentence. "My beloved," she wrote, "your letters are the light in my day. I read your words and feel the warmth of your gaze, the gentle tone of your voice. Life here continues its gentle rhythm, but it is your letters that bring music to my days. I long for the moment we can share these sunsets together." Their correspondence became a dance, a beautiful exchange of emotions and experiences. Each letter was more than just words on paper. It was a piece of their hearts, a promise of love unfaltered by distance. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, their bond only grew stronger, nurtured by their shared stories and whispered dreams. "My darling," he wrote in another letter, "I have started a small garden here, inspired by the tales of your own. Each seed I plant is a promise, a hope for the future. It reminds me of how our love has grown, nurtured by our words and dreams. I imagine you here, tending to these plants with me, our hands brushing against the earth, our laughter mingling with the rustling leaves." She could almost see it, the garden he described, vibrant and full of life. Her reply was filled with joy, the vision of their shared future blossoming in her mind. "My love," she penned, "your garden sounds like a paradise. I can picture it so clearly, a testament to the life we are building together, even from afar. I find solace in my own garden, knowing that yours grows in tandem with mine. It is as if our hearts are intertwined, blooming with every letter. The seasons shifted, the world turning its pages as they turned theirs, each letter a chapter in their unfolding story. They shared everything, from the mundane to the profound, their words a bridge over the expanse that separated them. He wrote of the changing leaves and crisp autumn air, and she replied with tales of spring flowers and gentle breezes. My heart, he wrote once more, the leaves are a riot of color, a reminder of the beauty in change. I miss you more with each passing day, but your letters are the warmth that shields me from the chill. I look forward to the time when we no longer need to write, when I can simply reach out and hold you. Her heart ached with longing, but also with the fullness of their shared hopes. Sweetheart, she replied, the flowers here are in full bloom, and each one seems to whisper your name. I treasure your letters, each one a beacon of light. Until we can be together, know that my thoughts are always with you. Thus their story unfolded, a tapestry of words and dreams, each letter a testament to their enduring love. In a world that seemed vast and unyielding, they found solace in a quaint village nestled beside a winding river, the echoes of daily life, intertwined with the gentle lull of water flowing over smooth stones. The townspeople went about their routines, each contributing to the symphony of sounds that defined their world. The cobblestone streets, worn by the passage of countless feet, whispered stories of the past, as if each step was a note in a melody that played on, day after day. Children's laughter rang out like bells, pure and bright, as they chased one another through narrow alleyways, their games a testament to the timeless joy of youth. By the riverbank, the scene was one of serene industry. Fishermen, their hands deft and experienced, cast their nets into the water with practiced ease. The river, in its steady journey, provided sustenance and connection, its waters a vital thread in the tapestry of village life. Birds flitted among the reeds, their songs mingling with the gentle splash of oars as boats glided across the surface. Nearby, a woman bent over her laundry, her movements rhythmic and soothing, as she scrubbed and rinsed, the fabric catching the sunlight and dancing like banners in the breeze. The trails that wound through the surrounding countryside were well trodden, each step taken a mark of passage for traders, travelers, and villagers alike. Along these paths, moments of quiet reflection were often found, as the landscape unfolded in a patchwork of fields and meadows, framed by the distant rise of gentle hills. The air was filled with the earthy scent of tilled soil, mingling with the sweet fragrance of wildflowers that dotted the verges. In the heart of the village, the marketplace was a hub of activity, alive with the hum of conversation and the rich aroma of freshly baked bread. Stalls overflowed with colorful produce, each item a testament to the labor and care of the farmers who brought them to market. Shoppers moved among the vendors, exchanging coins and pleasantries with familiar ease. It was a place of connection, where news was shared and friendships nurtured, the bonds of community strengthened with each passing day. In the evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky deepened to a soft indigo, the village settled into a comforting quiet. Lamps flickered to life, casting warm pools of light that danced in the windows, inviting and familiar. Families gathered around tables, sharing simple meals and stories of the day, the gentle murmur of voices a soothing backdrop to the end of another day. Within one such home, a letter was being penned, the scratch of pen on paper, a sound as familiar as the ticking of the clock on the mantelpiece. "Dearest," it began, the words flowing with the ease of long practice. Today the market was bustling, with the first of the season's harvest bringing a burst of color and life. I thought of you as I walked the stalls, imagining how your laughter would fill the spaces between the words we exchanged. The writer paused, gazing out the window at the stars that had begun to appear, their light a gentle reminder of the vastness beyond the village's borders. Meanwhile, in a distant town, a similar scene unfolded. A man sat at his desk, the glow of a lamp casting a circle of light around him as he composed his thoughts. "My love," he wrote, "the river here has a voice all its own, a constant companion in this journey of solitude. I find comfort in its whispers, as if it carries messages from you on its currents." He paused, listening to the night sounds beyond his window, the rustle of leaves and the distant call of an owl. "I wish you could see the moon tonight, how it bathes everything in silver light, transforming the ordinary into something magical." These letters, filled with the textures of their daily lives, were more than mere words on a page. They were bridges between worlds, carrying the essence of places and moments, the sounds and scents that defined their days. In the spaces between each letter, there was a shared understanding, a bond that transcended the miles that lay between them. As the night deepened, both letter writers paused to reflect on the day, their thoughts meandering like the river that connected their lives, weaving through memories and dreams. The village, with its familiar rhythms and comforting sounds, was a place of peace and belonging, a world unto itself amidst the uncertainty beyond its borders. Here, amidst the gentle echo of the river's song and the soft rustle of leaves in the evening breeze, the night unfolded, a blanket of calm that wrapped around them, assuring them that they were never truly alone. In this world of quiet simplicity, where the past and present coexisted in harmony, the mysteries of undelivered letters found their place in the gentle cadence of life. Each day brought with it new stories, woven into the fabric of the village, a testament to the enduring connections that time and distance could never sever. And as sleep beckoned, the villagers drifted into dreams, their hearts cradled by the soothing embrace of familiar sounds and the promise of another day. In the quiet village, life continued to unfold with a rhythm as steady as the turning of the seasons. The gentle hum of daily activities blended with the distant echoes of a world that seemed both far away and ever present. As the war raged on beyond their borders, the villagers found solace in the familiar routines and the small joys that each day offered. There was a comforting predictability to their lives, a sense of continuity that wrapped around them like a warm blanket. Amidst this serene backdrop, the letters that traveled from the village to the unknown destinations, and those that returned, carried with them whispers of a world in flux. The words penned on those delicate sheets of paper held stories of courage, longing, and hope, woven into the fabric of everyday life. Each letter was a bridge, connecting the past to the present, the known to the unknown. In its own way, it defied the boundaries that war sought to impose. As the seasons changed, so did the stories within the letters. The gentle snowfall of winter gave way to the vibrant colors of spring, and with it came news of change from the world beyond. There were whispers of turning tides, of battles that had taken a new course, and of a future that seemed to inch closer with each passing day. These shifts were felt in the village, not as abrupt changes, but as a subtle undercurrent, like a distant melody carried on the wind. One of the villagers, a woman named Clara, often sat by the window of her modest home, her thoughts carried away with each letter she penned. Her world was filled with the simple pleasures that life offered: a warm cup of tea on a chilly morning, the laughter of children playing in the fields, and the gentle murmur of the river that flowed nearby. Clara's letters were filled with these details, painting a picture of life in the village that was both vivid and serene. She wrote of the garden she tended, where the first buds of spring promised a bountiful harvest, and of the village gatherings that brought everyone together in joyous celebration. Clara's correspondences were a testament to her resilience and hope. In her letters, she shared her dreams of a world at peace, a world where the echoes of war would be replaced by the harmony of everyday life. Her words carried a quiet strength, a belief in the enduring nature of human connection. Each letter was a reflection of her heart, an offering to those she held dear, even as distance kept them apart. Beyond the village, the landscape of the world was shifting. The war, with its far-reaching implications, had brought about changes that were felt in every corner of the globe. Yet, in the village, these shifts were absorbed gently into the fabric of daily life. The villagers, with their unwavering spirit, continued to nurture the ties that bound them together, drawing strength from the community they had built. As the letters traveled to their destinations, some found their way back, carrying with them replies that spoke of journeys across oceans and encounters with new lands. The stories they bore were of resilience and adaptability, of lives intertwined with the broader narrative of the world at war. Each letter that returned was a reminder of the connections that transcended borders, a testament to the power of words to bridge distances and bring comfort in times of uncertainty. The village, with its timeless charm and enduring spirit, stood as a beacon of hope. It was a place where the past and present coexisted in harmony, where the mysteries of undelivered mail found their place in the gentle cadence of life. In this world, the villagers navigated the ebb and flow of change with grace, finding beauty in the everyday and strength in their shared stories. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the village, Clara sat with pen in hand, her thoughts drifting like the river that flowed nearby. She paused, taking a moment to reflect on the day, on the letters she had written and received. In that quiet space, surrounded by the familiar sounds of home, Clara found a sense of peace. She knew that in the grand tapestry of life, each letter was a thread, weaving together the stories of the past, present, and future. And as night settled over the village, Clara's heart was cradled by the comforting embrace of connection, the knowledge that no matter the distance or the changes that lay ahead, she was never truly alone. Clara stood by her window, watching the gentle flicker of lanterns glow along the cobbled streets below. The village, with its quaint charm and timeless serenity, seemed to whisper stories from long ago. Tonight the air was crisp, carrying with it the soft, distant hum of life settling down for the night. Her room was filled with the familiar scents of lavender and sage, carried on the breeze from the garden her grandmother had tended with such care. As she turned her gaze inward, her thoughts drifted to the tales her grandmother used to tell her. They were rich with history and woven with the fabric of the past, tales of how their ancestors had sailed across turbulent seas, guided only by the stars and their dreams of a new beginning. These stories, once merely words told by firelight, now felt like a tapestry she was part of, threads of her own life interwoven with those of the generations before her. Clara's mind wandered to the time she had spent with her grandmother in the garden, learning not just about plants, but about patience, growth, and the quiet strength it takes to nurture life. Those lessons seemed more poignant now, as she faced crossroads of her own, moments where choices would guide her journey, just as the stars had guided her ancestors. The village, too, had seen its share of change. The once bustling marketplace had quieted over the years, as people sought new opportunities beyond the rolling hills that encircled their home. Yet despite the changes, the heart of the village remained. It was in the laughter shared at the bakery, the songs sung during harvest festivals, and the stories shared under the old oak tree where children played and dreamed. Clara knew that soon she would leave, not out of discontent, but out of a deep-seated curiosity and a yearning to see what lay beyond the familiar. She would carry with her the stories, the lessons, and the love that had been her foundation. Even in the face of uncertainty, there was a quiet assurance in her heart, a knowledge that she was not truly stepping away from home, but rather expanding the boundaries of what home meant. Her decision to leave was not taken lightly. It had been born of many nights spent in quiet reflection, conversations with friends who, like her, stood on the cusp of their own journeys. Together, they had shared dreams and fears. And in those moments, Clara realized that change, while daunting, was also a chance to grow, to discover new facets of herself and the world. Outside, the moon cast a gentle glow over the village, painting everything in shades of silver. It reminded Clara of the nights she had spent stargazing, tracing constellations with her grandmother's old telescope. Each star had a story, a name, a place in the vastness of the sky, and just like those stars, she felt herself part of something larger, a constellation of lives and stories connected across time and space. As she lay down to sleep, Clara's thoughts drifted back to the little garden. She could almost feel the cool earth between her fingers, the promise held within each seed planted with care. Her grandmother had once told her that the garden was like life itself, full of surprises, growth, and beauty, even amid change and challenge. In the quiet of her room, Clara knew that though her path was still unfolding, she carried within her the essence of the village, the strength of her heritage, and the spirit of those who had come before. As sleep gently claimed her, she dreamed of new beginnings, of paths untraveled, and of the familiar faces she would carry with her in her heart. And so, as the village slumbered in the gentle embrace of night, Clara's journey was just beginning, a journey woven with the dreams of the past and the hopes of the future, a journey that promised to reveal the vast, beautiful world beyond the horizon. And as Clara's dreams embraced the tapestry of time, weaving her present with the echoes of the past. The village, with its quaint charm and timeless rhythms, was a place where history seemed to linger in the air, carried on the whispers of the wind and the gentle rustle of leaves. Each day was like a page in a long, unending story, where the past and present intertwined, creating a seamless narrative that bound generation to generation. The quiet hours before dawn, when the world was still wrapped in the soft embrace of night, Clara often found herself drawn to the old oak tree at the edge of the village. Its branches stretched toward the sky, a living testament to the passage of time, having witnessed the comings and goings of countless seasons. She imagined the stories it could tell, if only it could speak, the tales of love and loss, of hope, perseverance, that had unfolded beneath its boughs. Standing beneath its canopy, Clara felt a deep connection to those who had walked these paths before her. Her grandmother had often spoken of the letters that had once been exchanged during the war, letters that carried the weight of longing and the promise of reunion. Many had reached their destinations, bringing solace and joy, but others had remained undelivered, their words lost to time, like whispers carried away on the breeze. Yet, even in their absence, they held a power, a reminder of the bonds that connected loved ones, despite the distance and uncertainty. As the first light of dawn began to paint the sky in soft hues of pink and gold, Clara would close her eyes and let her imagination wander. She pictured the letters, tucked away in forgotten corners, waiting patiently to be discovered, each one a fragment of a larger story. Perhaps they were hidden in the attic of an old farmhouse, or nestled among the pages of a beloved book, their words fading yet still resonant with the emotions of those who had penned them. In these moments of reflection, Clara felt a sense of peace, knowing that she was part of this perpetual cycle of connection and remembrance. The letters, like seeds sown in fertile soil, had the power to bridge the gap between past and present, nurturing the roots of understanding and empathy. Clara's thoughts would often turn to the idea of legacy, what we leave behind for those who follow. Her grandmother had imparted this wisdom, reminding her that stories, like gardens, must be tended and shared. They were the threads that wove the fabric of community, providing strength and resilience in the face of change. And so, as the sun rose higher in the sky, Clara would return to the village, her heart full of the stories she carried within her. She knew that the path she walked was shaped by the footsteps of those who had come before, and that she too was leaving her mark, however small, on the world around her. In the gentle rhythm of daily life, Clara found comfort and inspiration. The familiar routines, the morning chatter of birds, the distant toll of the church bell, the warm aroma of bread baking in the village bakery, were a soothing balm, grounding her in the present even as she dreamed of the future. Each day was a new beginning, a chance to weave her story into the rich tapestry of history. The undelivered letters, though unseen, were a reminder of the enduring power of hope and love. They were like the stars in the night sky, unseen during the day yet always present, guiding her journey with their quiet, steadfast light. As Clara moved through her days, she carried their spirit with her, a gentle beacon illuminating the path toward understanding and connection. In this way, the past and present coexisted harmoniously, each enriching the other, creating a narrative as fluid and beautiful as the river that flowed gently through the heart of the village. And as Clara embraced the ebb and flow of life, she knew that she was part of something greater, a living story that transcended time, a testament to the resilience and beauty of the human spirit. She often found herself wandering the familiar paths of her village, the cobblestones beneath her feet echoing with the footsteps of those who came before. Each stone seemed to whisper stories of laughter, of love, of trials overcome. Clara remembered her grandmother's tales about these very streets, how they had borne witness to countless parades of life. She felt their presence, a silent yet comforting reminder that she was never truly alone. In the evenings, Clara would sit by her window, watching the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and violet. It was during these quiet moments that she felt the weight of history most profoundly. The setting sun seemed to cast shadows of the past onto the present, bridging the gap between what was and what is. She would close her eyes and imagine the generations before her, each one a link in the chain of time, each one contributing to the tapestry of existence. Her grandfather had often spoken of such connections, weaving tales of his own youth with the wisdom of age. He told her of a time when the village was but a small cluster of homes, where neighbors were family and every face was familiar. His stories were not just memories, they were lessons wrapped in nostalgia, teaching Clara the importance of community, of holding on to the threads that tie us to one another. He would smile, his eyes crinkling with the remembrance of days gone by, and say, "We are the stories we leave behind, my dear." These reflections were more than mere musings. They were Clara's compass, guiding her through the complexities of life. Whenever she faced uncertainty, she would pause and draw strength from the past. She realized that the struggles she encountered were not unlike those faced by her ancestors. They too had navigated the storms of life, weathering challenges with courage and grace. Their resilience was etched into the fabric of her being, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity. As Clara grew older, she found herself sharing these stories with others. Her voice, once filled with the exuberance of youth, now carried the soft cadence of wisdom. She spoke of love and loss, of dreams pursued and dreams deferred, of the indelible mark each person leaves upon the world. Her listeners, young and old alike, would lean in, captivated by the tales that seemed to breathe life into the very air around them. In these moments of storytelling, Clara saw the power of connection, a bridge spanning generations linking past to present in an unbroken chain. It was as if time folded in on itself, allowing the voices of yesterday to converse with the hearts of today. This exchange, she realized, was a gift, a reminder that no one is ever truly forgotten as long as their story is told. The village, too, became a living testament to this continuity. Its walls bore witness to the passage of time, each crack and crevice a record of history unfolding. Clara often marveled at the resilience of these stone structures, standing steadfast against the ravages of time. They were like the people who inhabited them, enduring and evolving, yet always holding on to the essence of what made them unique. And so, as the years unfurled like pages in the book of life, Clara embraced her role as both a keeper and a creator of stories. She understood that while we may walk our paths individually, our journeys are intertwined, each one a thread in the vast, intricate web of existence. She cherished this knowledge, finding solace in the idea that she was part of something much larger than herself, a living narrative that continued to grow and evolve with each passing day. In the quiet solitude of her reflections, Clara felt a profound sense of belonging. She was not just a solitary figure traversing the landscape of life. She was a part of a community, a family, a lineage stretching back through the ages. And as she embraced this truth, she found peace, knowing that her story Clara's day began as it often did, with the soft glow of dawn filtering through the curtains, casting delicate patterns on the wooden floorboards. She rose quietly, careful not to disturb the tranquility that enveloped the room. The air was crisp, carrying with it the faint scent of dew-kissed earth and the promise of a new day. Clara relished these early morning moments, a time when the world seemed to hold its breath, suspended between the night that had passed and the day yet to unfold. Her first task was to light the stove, its warmth gradually permeating the kitchen, chasing away the remnants of the night's chill. She moved with practiced ease, her hands deftly arranging kindling and striking a match with a soft flick. As the flames took hold, she prepared breakfast, the rhythmic crackle of the fire a comforting backdrop to the gentle clatter of pots and pans. There was a simple joy in these routines, a sense of purpose woven into every action. In those moments, Clara often found herself reflecting on the small rituals that punctuated her days, the quiet ceremonies of domestic life that connected her to generations past. Her grandmother had once stood in this very kitchen, her hands performing the same tasks with the same grace and attentiveness. It was a comforting thought, this continuity of action, a reminder that she was part of an unbroken chain of women who had nurtured their families and tended to their homes with love and care. With breakfast prepared, Clara turned her attention to the letters. They arrived regularly, a steady stream of correspondence that linked her to the world beyond her village. Each envelope was a vessel of stories, carrying with it the voices and thoughts of loved ones separated by miles yet united by the written word. As she sorted through the mail, Clara savored the anticipation of opening each letter, the thrill of discovering what news or sentiments lay within. One letter in particular caught her eye, its handwriting familiar and dear. She opened it with care, unfolding the pages to reveal a message from her brother James, who was stationed overseas. His words were a balm to her heart, a reminder of the bond they shared despite the distance. In his letter, James described his own daily routines, the rhythm of life in the camp, and the camaraderie that sustained him through the long days. He wrote of the early morning drills, the shared meals, and the quiet moments of reflection that punctuated his time away. James's letter was a window into a world both familiar and foreign, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of uncertainty. Clara read his words slowly, savoring each line, her mind painting vivid pictures of the scenes he described. She could almost hear the laughter of his comrades, feel the warmth of the sun on her face as she imagined him standing beneath a sky vast and endless. As the morning unfolded, Clara continued with her tasks, her movements guided by the rhythms of the day. She tended to the garden, her hands working the soil with gentle precision, nurturing the plants that would soon yield their harvest. The earth was cool and yielding beneath her fingers, a reminder of the cycles of nature and the promise of renewal. Each seed planted was an act of faith, a commitment to the future and the hope of abundance yet to come. Throughout the day, Clara remained tuned to the world around her, the subtle shifts in light and shadow, the changing patterns of the wind. These were the markers of time, the silent witnesses to the passage of each hour. And as the sun began its slow descent, casting a golden glow over the landscape, Clara found herself pausing to watch the play of colors across the horizon. It was a moment of stillness, a chance to breathe deeply and reflect on the simple beauty of the world. Evening, as the stars emerged one by one in the deepening sky, Clara settled into the familiar embrace of her chair by the fire. The warmth of the flames mirrored the warmth in her heart, a gentle reminder of the connections that bound her to those she loved. She picked up her pen, the act of writing a letter, a ritual of connection and continuity. Her words, carefully chosen and thoughtfully composed, were a bridge between her world and that of her brother, a testament to the enduring power of family and the ties that bind. As Clara wrote, she felt a profound sense of peace, a certainty that her words would carry with them the love and support that sustained her through the days. In this simple act, she found solace, knowing that while the world was vast and often unpredictable, there was comfort in the knowledge that she was part of something larger than herself, a tapestry of stories and experiences that wove together into a rich and vibrant whole. And so, as the night deepened and the world outside her window slipped into slumber, Clara embraced the quietude of the moment. The gentle flicker of the firelight played upon the walls, casting dancing shadows that mimicked the rhythm of her thoughts. In the stillness, she found a sense of belonging, a connection to the past, and a hope for the future, knowing that her story was but one of many in the grand narrative of life. In this serene moment, Clara's world seemed to unfold like a tapestry woven with the threads of history, each strand carrying the whispers of the past. The room was filled with a quiet warmth, the kind that enveloped one like a soft blanket, offering comfort and a gentle sense of security. The air held a delicate fragrance, a blend of old paper and ink, mingling with the faint aroma of the burning logs in the fireplace. The sounds of the outside world were muted, as if the night had wrapped itself around the cottage, cradling it in a soothing embrace. As Clara's pen moved gracefully across the paper, the rhythm of her writing became a soothing lullaby, each stroke a testament to her thoughts and feelings. The ink flowed smoothly, forming words that seemed to dance upon the page, capturing moments of quiet reflection and heartfelt emotion. Her mind wandered to the stories her brother had shared in his own letters, tales of distant places and the people he had met along the way. It was as if each letter was a window into another world, offering glimpses of life beyond the confines of their small village. The firelight flickered gently, casting a warm glow that shimmered across the room, creating a play of light and shadow that seemed to echo the rhythm of Clara's thoughts. The shadows swayed in time with the flickering flames, creating a dance that was both mesmerizing and calming. It was a dance that spoke of the passage of time, of moments fleeting yet eternal, captured in the gentle sway of the shadows. The room seemed to breathe with a life of its own, the walls holding echoes of laughter and conversation, of shared stories and quiet companionship. Outside, the world lay shrouded in the soft embrace of night, the landscape a tapestry of muted colors and gentle contours, The moon cast its silvery light upon the fields, turning them into a sea of tranquility, while the stars twinkled like distant lanterns, guiding travelers on their nocturnal journeys. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it the scents of earth and foliage, a reminder of the cycles of nature that continued unabated, even in the quiet of the night. Clara's mind drifted back to the stories her grandmother had told her, tales of the past filled with adventure and mystery. She could almost hear her grandmother's voice, warm and gentle, recounting the exploits of those who had come before, their lives woven into the fabric of history. These stories were like heirlooms, passed down through generations, each one a thread in the intricate tapestry of their family's legacy. They were tales of endurance and resilience, of hope and love, stories that had shaped the lives of those who had come before, and would continue to shape the lives of those yet to come. In this quiet moment, Clara felt a profound connection to her ancestors, as if their spirits were present in the room, offering guidance and strength. She imagined them gathered around the hearth, sharing stories and laughter, their voices mingling with the crackle of the fire and the whisper of the wind. It was a comforting thought, the idea that she was part of something much larger than herself, a lineage that stretched back through time, connecting her to a rich and vibrant past. The gentle rhythm of the night continued, the world outside slipping deeper into slumber, the stars watching over the sleeping earth. Clara's thoughts turned to her brother once more, her heart filled with a sense of longing and love. She imagined him reading her letter, his face lighting up with recognition and joy as he absorbed her words. It was a connection that transcended distance, a bond that could not be broken by time or circumstance. As the night wore on, Clara found herself lulled by the gentle cadence of her own thoughts, the rhythm of her breathing matching the rise and fall of the fire's glow. She felt a deep sense of peace, a certainty that, despite the uncertainties of the world, there was comfort in the familiar, in the rituals and routines that marked the passage of time. Her eyelids grew heavy, and she surrendered to the embrace of sleep, knowing that the stories and memories she cherished would be there to greet her upon waking, like old friends waiting to share in the new day's adventures. And so, the night continued its gentle watch, a silent guardian of dreams and stories, cradling Clara and the world around her in its tender embrace. The tapestry of life, with all its colors and textures, unfolded anew, each thread a reminder of the continuity of existence, of the enduring connections that bind us all across time and space in the grand narrative of history. And in another part of the world, the same moonlight that illuminated Clara's thoughts cast its gentle glow over a bustling airfield in England. There, amidst the hum of engines and the occasional bark of a commanding officer, a young pilot named Thomas was preparing for a night mission. The air was crisp, a reminder of the season's transition, as he donned his flight jacket, the leather soft and familiar against his skin, the scent of aviation fuel mingled with the cool night air, creating a unique fragrance that he had come to associate with the thrill and responsibility of his role. Thomas took a moment to observe the scene around him, the other pilots engaged in their own pre-flight rituals, a shared understanding passing between them, unspoken but deeply felt. Each was a cog in a larger machine, their roles varied yet interconnected, much like the letters that crisscrossed the skies, carrying words of love and hope across the vast distances. As Thomas climbed into the cockpit, he found comfort in the routine of his checks, each switch and lever a step in the familiar dance that prepared him for flight. The cockpit was a world unto itself, the instruments glowing softly in the dim light, their steady hum a reassurance in an uncertain world. As he guided his plane down the runway, the rumble of the engines beneath him became a steady heartbeat, a rhythm that matched the pulse of his own excitement and nerves. Once airborne, the world below transformed into a patchwork quilt of fields and villages, the darkness softened by the occasional pinprick of light from a distant farmhouse or village street lamp. Meanwhile, far from the airfield, in a quiet corner of the countryside, a young woman named Margaret found solace in the routine of her evening chores. The farmhouse kitchen was warm and inviting, the scent of baking bread mingling with the earthy aroma of the herbs she had gathered from the garden earlier that day. The rhythmic sound of the bread dough being kneaded was a comfort, a task that required just enough focus to quiet her mind. As she worked, her thoughts drifted to her brother, Thomas, and the letter she had sent him earlier that week. She hoped it would reach him soon, carrying with it her words of encouragement and affection, a tangible reminder of home and the life that awaited him upon his return. Margaret paused for a moment, gazing out the window at the moonlit landscape. The fields stretched out before her, a familiar expanse that had been the backdrop to her life for as long as she could remember. She thought of the stories those fields could tell, the generations of her family who had worked the land, their lives woven into the very soil that sustained them. It was a legacy of resilience and continuity, a reminder that despite the changes and challenges of the world, some things remained constant. Back in the air, Thomas glanced at the stars above, their light a steadfast guide as he navigated the vast, open sky. The radio crackled with the voices of his fellow pilots, a reassuring presence in the solitude of the cockpit. Each voice was distinct, yet together they formed a chorus of camaraderie, a reminder that he was not alone in the vastness of the night. As he approached his destination, the anticipation of the mission mingled with thoughts of home, of the letter he had received from Margaret just days before. Her words had been a balm, soothing the aches of homesickness and the weight of responsibility, a connection to the life he had temporarily left behind. As the night unfolded, the stories of Thomas and Margaret, like so many others, intertwined in the tapestry of the world, each thread distinct yet part of a larger whole. Their lives, separated by miles yet bound by love and shared history, were a testament to the enduring power of connection. And as the moon continued its silent journey across the sky, casting its gentle light on the world below, it bore witness to the quiet strength of those who lived beneath its watchful gaze. The night held within it the promise of a new day, of stories yet to be told, of letters yet to be written and received, each one a thread in the grand narrative of history. And so, the moon continued its silent vigil, casting its gentle glow over the world, a beacon in the quiet night. Below, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, the inhabitants began to settle in for the night, each with their own dreams and stories unfolding. In a cozy cottage at the edge of the village, young Alara lay snugly in her bed, her mother seated beside her, finished reading a beloved tale of adventure and bravery. Alara's eyes sparkled with wonder as she imagined herself as the hero of the story, embarking on a quest to distant lands, discovering treasures hidden in forgotten places. "Tell me another story, Mama," she pleaded, her voice tinged with drowsiness. Her mother smiled, gently tucking Alara under the soft quilt. "Tomorrow, my dear," she whispered, brushing a stray lock of hair from Alara's forehead. "Dream of magical worlds tonight, and perhaps you'll have a story to tell me in the morning." Meanwhile, across the village, in a small shop, filled with the musky scent of leather and ink, an elderly man named Thomas sat at his workbench. The flickering candlelight danced across the room as he meticulously repaired an old book, its pages worn and fragile from years of use. Thomas took great pride in his work, knowing that each book had its own story, its own journey through time. As he carefully stitched the spine back together, He thought of the countless hands that had turned its pages, the countless eyes that had scanned its lines, and the countless minds it had touched. Not far from Thomas's shop, in a house filled with the aroma of fresh bread, a young woman named Clara sat by the window, pen in hand. She was writing a letter, pouring her thoughts and feelings onto the paper, in elegant script. The letter was addressed to her brother, who had ventured to distant lands in search of opportunity. Clara paused, staring out into the night, wondering what adventures he was having and if he ever thought of home. Her heart ached with a mix of longing and hope, hoping her words would bridge the distance between them.